This is an important one. Women should be invited for a menopause checkup when they turn 45. This is a report for MPs. Says they're criticising the current support as completely inadequate, which is something that has been discussed here a lot. And they'll be discussing free HRT prescriptions as well. Access to HRT remains a postcode lottery. So I think we've got Dr Louise on the line now. Louise, as we said, you know, we have been discussing this a lot. Your thoughts to this news?
Yeah, I think what it is doing is revealing how many women are really struggling to be listened to, actually, to receive evidence-based treatment. We've known for many years how safe HRT is, and the message isn't getting through, but it finally is to many women, but they're still receiving blockers. And we know the majority of women aren't receiving treatment. We know that women from low socioeconomic classes are less likely to receive treatment. But we also know that that treatment reduces risk of diseases and actually will be worth it in the long term for the NHS, because short-term pain of spending money on these women will be long-term gain. Women will be less likely to experience conditions such as heart disease, osteoporosis, which are expensive conditions, but also they're less likely to have investigations for their palpitations, for their headaches, for their joint pains, for their urinary symptoms. But also we have to think about the cost of the economy. We know around 10% of women give up their jobs as a result of their menopause. So actually through Balance, the app, we've just done some cost analysis and work out that it's about £10 billion that could be saved if women could stay in the workplace, because it's about 10 billion if you work out the cost of women leaving, having to replace them. It's a massive amount of money. So even if we don't worry about women suffering, which of course as a doctor I worry about all the time, but we have to think about the global economy and what we're doing with these poor women who are struggling and suffering, which is what the report so eloquently describes. It's really sad. It's 2022 and women aren't being listened to, and they're being denied treatment that is there in NICE guidance, it's there in the evidence, yet women time and time again are being told they can't have it, or there are risks, or they should try antidepressants, or they're too young. And although it's very good thinking about 45-year-olds and a plus, we know that 1 in 100 women under the age of 40 have an early menopause. So there are lots of women struggling with their perimenopause or menopause who are younger. Any help would be good. And I think free prescriptions is actually really good. We have free prescriptions if you have a hormone deficiency with hypothyroidism or type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes as well. So we also have to think about the menopause as this health risk, because people are very much talking about natural supplements and alternatives, but the only way of having your hormones back is by taking a natural type of hormone in HRT derived from
it's a good for somebody. We know how long you've been campaigning and talking about this. This does seem to be a positive step forward. It's good that it is now being talked about in such high places. Thank you. We'll see you soon, because I know we'll continue this conversation. Juliet, this is, you know, a light at the end of the tunnel somewhat, a long-awaited light for many, many women.
Absolutely. Look, as a 54-year-old woman on HRT, I was cheering on every single word of that from your doctor. Yeah, I mean, what I find extraordinary, I'm a daughter of a GP, and I'm a journalist. I write about health issues and and I didn't know what the perimenopause was. And when I was having sleepless nights and hot sweats, but still menstruating, I thought, well, I'm not menopausal. Didn't even occur to me to go to the doctor. Lots of women do. They're exhausted. They're miserable. Marriages break down. Relationships break down. People leave their jobs. I think for your own sanity, it's absolutely vital that women are more informed about this, and doctors better informed by this. Do you know how many hours doctors spend in their medical training on menopause? 2 hours. 2 hours. This happens to half of the population in their lifetime. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it more openly, and doctors need to be getting HRT to the women who need it. Only 14% of women who are going through menopause are actually on HRT. I mean, it's absolutely crazy that we're not dealing with this.
That's right. I think men need to be better informed about it as well. When you listen to Dr Louise, you have to reflect. It's a hidden thing. It's different things, anxiety and hot flushes and so on. It also happens to women. It's also worse treated in working class women. It's just the sort sort of people who are easy to ignore. You do wonder if this is a thing that happened to men, would this be a bigger issue and would we be having to have this conversation now, really?
And indirectly, it does affect men because, you know, it's partners, this is sons, this is brothers, this is, you know, this is something that impacts everybody. So it is...
And everyone would be better served by knowing more about it, breaking the taboos and actually dealing with it head on, really.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about it a lot in here, and good to see a step forward, that's for sure.